Welcome back. Welcome back for another one. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. I should have changed this title to The Downfall of Brandon Johnson. When I say he is the worst mayor in America other than Tiffany Henya, because she equally as bad and ghetto as hell. I don't even know how they elected her. How did they elect her? Or did nobody run and did nobody show up at the polls for her? But it's mind boggling. But Mayor Brandon Johnson, I have never seen a mayor go against his constituents, the people who voted for you. They keep telling you they fed up with you putting the illegals before them. You put the illegals in black neighborhoods. They've been telling you for months that they pissed, that they want the people out of their neighborhoods. You don't care. How much are you being paid under the table from George Soros? And then to see you and Pixner with Rahm Emanuel, I know y'all getting paid under. How much are they paying you to throw your own people up under the bus? For real, because you are the worst mayor. Who will want to harbor criminals in a neighborhood? Your sanctuary policy says that, the police won't help with ICE raids. You don't precede federal government. Federal government has the authority to come in there, but we're going to stay a welcoming city no matter. So they have caught predators in Chicago. They have caught murderers in Chicago, and you still want to stay a welcoming city and harbor these type of people in the neighborhoods. Unbelievable. I have never in my life, at least Pixner, which is a bad governor as well. At least he did change his mind and said, of course, he don't want criminals in his neighborhood. You can't even say that. I have a cousin that's right outside Chicago. And when I told her, I said, y'all got the worst mayor. She ain't even want to talk to me no more. Matter of fact, I hadn't talked to her since, but I'm just saying, wow, wow. You would not get voted back in. You even caused the black folk, you so bad that you caused the black folk to lead the Democratic Party to flip Chicago red. And they did flip some areas purple, which means the next time, if the Republicans do a good job, it's going red, but you're not getting a second term. Now you have put yourself right into an investigation to go and testify before Congress, and you don't know if you want to go or not. Well, when they subpoena you, I can tell you who's gonna go. Eric Adams gonna be there because he need a pardon from Trump. He gonna be there. He definitely going. He ain't gonna have to be subpoenaed. Maybe Karen Bass from, oh, she a bad mayor too, Lord God. Um, she may go, and Boston may. I bet you Johnson, Mike Johnson from Colorado. I bet you he gonna be at that. Be yes, he going. You would rather be on the right side to get the monies you need for your city, idiot. For your people who live there, idiot. Because what you gonna do if the federal government say we not giving you no funding? The way people leaving Chicago and businesses leaving Chicago, guess what? You not getting enough revenue to sustain, period. And you still want to be a welcoming city. Let's see how that work out for you. Just dumb. See, he is prime example of DEI. And this is why the federal government want to scrap DEI in its workplace and like where I work for, they're not going to put an incompetent person in a position, period, just based on color. But the federal government did that, as I'll show, and that's another discussion for another time. But they put incompetent people in its place instead of the best candidate, and they did that, and that's why people are scrapping DI. My company not gonna do that because for real, no, they not. But he a prime example of a DI hire. For real. Just unbelievable. And that's why Wall Street Journal said you the worst man. You have an approval rating of 14%. It's probably less than that now. Brandon Johnson approval rating 14%. I'm sure it's less than that now. The downfall of America's most hated mayor as he speaks fresh outrage among experiencing residents. Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. Johnson stuck an uplifting note in his inaugural speech as Chicago's mayor in May 2023, saying a better day is ahead for a city gripped by violence and despair. And it's still gripped by violence and despair, but it's not by its own residents. It's by Trinidad Laguagua, the Venezuelan gang, selling drugs and guns in your city. All, but you still want to harbor them. Man, they got to be paying you a whole lot of money. I hope it is to turn your back on your own citizens. 18 months later, and residents of the third biggest U.S. city are waiting on the Democrat to deliver. As his popularity collapsed amid a series of political mishaps, just 14% of Chicagoans approve of the mayor, and 70% view him unfavorably, according to a recent survey by San Francisco based Change Research. That ought to make you ashamed and want to change course based on that, on how the people feel you and view you. Mayor Brandon Johnson, not. He's a prime example of a DI. Oh my God. And the stuff that comes out his mouth is the stupid. Just like, how do you say this? As you see, critics say the Dad of Three has been too hostile to police while abandoning his teachers' union pals and the cash-strapped Chicagoans who voted him into office. You arrogant as hell, but you're going to be humble. You had two police officers who passed in the city and their families told you don't even come, don't even attend. And then on the second one, you said you're going to attend anyway until they had to tell you they don't want you there. That ain't even get you together. Your own police don't want nothing to do. You down about 2,500 police officers. Don't nobody want to work with you. Mm, mm, mm. Stephanie Calindo, a political science professor, says Johnson 48 gets bad advice, and makes too many rookie mistakes. The honeymoon is well over. There has to be some wins coming, Collateral told CBS News. Johnson's office did not answer our request for comment. His supporters say it's hard to reverse Chicago's long-standing problems of poverty, crime, and racial tensions overnight when the city faces $1 billion deficit because half of that went to you housing, feeding illegals. Wow. Against this backdrop, Daily Mail takes a look at what's wrong with Chicago's mayor. I just said the mayor was not welcome at the funeral of slain police officer. That's true. The family said, do not come. Chicago Mayor Brandon tries to blame Richard Nixon for July 4th weekend gun violence, where it was, should I think they had how many shootings? More than 100 people were shot in Chicago in July 2024. And he blamed Richard Nixon from 1973-74. You can't make this up. And it's so funny that Chicago don't even have a recall law. They're unable to recall um, bad politicians. They have a law against it. So now they have a bill in their state government so they can recall people. So they stuck with this idiot. That's the kind of stuff that he does. Okay, let me go back now. Let me go back to because I had to Google because I got so much. Oh, I'm going back to the 11. Wait a minute. Oh, let me do it this way. Let me do it on this phone because that's gonna tell me where the articles are. Oh, I'm right there on it. Analysts weigh in on the trouble Chicago mayor has been facing lately. Brandon Johnson decided not to attend the funeral of fallen Chicago officer Enrique Martinez because he said he was going to go anyway after the family said no. Then he decided not to attend the funeral for fallen Chicago on Monday after a back and forth. He went back and forth with a grieving family, with Martinez's family who had asked him not to attend. That headline is just one out of his office coming on the heels of a 50-0 rejection by city council on a $300 million property tax hike for 2025 budget. Now he ran on no new taxes, and then he want to turn around because you want to pay for the illegals everything and ask for a $300 million tax increase. That's absurd. Everybody rejected that. Meanwhile, the Wall Street Journal named Mayor Johnson the worst mayor in America. The political winds have drifted to a point where even staunch Johnson supporters are questioning what is going on. For all those reasons, political analysts say Johnson is at the fork in the road 18 months in office. Analysts say navigating that fork in the road requires a reset of how Johnson governs and people with whom he surrounds himself. This is an inflection point and it's a reflection point because he really needs to reflect on what he wants his legacy to be. It's going to be the worst mayor in America. When asked what grade she would give Mayor Johnson, Cobb said a B minus. No, it's like a D minus. Political science professor Stephen Calindo was less generous. The honeymoon is well over. There has to be some wins coming. If I had to give him a grade like a professor, I guess he'll be sitting at a C minus or a D at this point. Cobb and Calindo had similar observations of what was gone wrong in the Johnson administration. What's really important, of course, is to put the right people around you. There are some rookie mistakes I don't think he needed to make if he had some seasoned people around him. For example, Cobb pointed to the hasty replacement of the school board members just days after mass resignation. You don't fire the school board or they leave on Friday and then on Monday you're announcing their replacements and do a good thorough job of vetting the people when you're going to have to replace them. Facts. As for the funeral, Officer Enrique Martinez, attended by former Mayor Richard Daley, he was there. Political analysts wonder why Johnson's, wait a minute, why Johnson initially refused the Martinez family request that he not attend. That's a fact. They was telling we don't want you there. He was like he going anyway. Who does that? They don't like you. He's making a serious or curious decision that doesn't seem to acknowledge that he has some public opinion trouble. He don't care. And then over the weekend, the Wall Street Journal issued an editorial headline, America's Worst Mayor Keeps Losing. Cobb had a cautionary note about the judgment in that headline. Did they say that when Rahm Emanuel was mayor? Did they say that when Richard Daley was mayor? No, they didn't say that. So now they're saying that. So when it comes to a black person, you're not the worst because as long as white people have the comforts and amenities, then you're wonderful. There was a lot of criticism for both of those. The only black mayor I think of Chicago, Harold Washington, didn't receive a lot of criticism. I don't recall anyway. Cobb says of Johnson that he has done no harm, while some tell her that is a low bar from which to judge. She countered with an observation. Former Mayor Emanuel castigating him for closing 50 schools and half of the city's mental health clinics, and in her words, trying to cover up the murder of Laquan McDonald by Chicago police officer. Oh, I do remember that. Cobb also castigated Mayor Richard Daley, saying he disinvested in the black community for 20 years. Y'all kept electing him back in, didn't you? Leading to the loss of 250,000 African Americans from the city since 2000. Wow, 250,000, 250,000 blacks left. Wow. Cobb said Johnson undeniably has self inflicted wounds, but she said that is part of the framework against which Johnson needs to be judged. CBS News Chicago reached out and the mayor's office had no comment, I'm sure. All right, let's get into some of these because I'm going to go back and forth. Mm-mm-mm. Wrong one, wrong one. Where's that? It never failed, do it? You can't make this shit up, I swear to God. Mm, 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 mm. I had everything set. Oh, because I kept adding to the stuff. Because I keep adding, trying to delete stuff. This started with the Democratic platform seemed to satisfy your needs as far as what you'd like to see with our immigration policy. What platform is that? That's when I found out that it was Kamala Harris that opened the borders up in California. I'm going to put this at the feet of the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party, has an agenda behind bringing immigrants over. I'm Andre Barnes with Numbers USA in Chicago during the DNC. We're here to hear the stories from the people who are impacted by the immigrants being bused into their neighborhoods. And what we want to do is tell the stories of the people that have been affected. When you hear people say that we should be softer on border security, what do you have to say about that? We should be softer? When they say that we should be welcoming to people that are coming in illegally and getting all these benefits, what do you have to say to that? Well, first of all, the people coming here illegally, so that's a crime. We need to be harder on immigration, not softer. Can you tell me about your neighborhood and what you've seen living here in Chicago? It's just been a disaster. They started off putting the immigrants over in the police station. And as we started to move out of the police station, they started to put them in our neighborhoods. The neighborhood didn't want them. The residents, the citizens, we pushed back, but the deal was already done. And so they were bringing in a lot of military-age men into the community. I mean, we're not blind, we're not stupid, we're not obtuse. We know what's going on. But unfortunately, the people who run this city, they don't care what the people think. So they that part. Residential neighborhoods like Washington Park, middle-class black neighborhood, we're still pushing back. We don't want them here. The crime rate has gone up since they've been here. That's a fact. Nobody wants to talk about it, but we live it every day. What policies would you like to see in place that would limit the amount of people that are there? Well, listen, there are policies on the book in Congress already. They need to enforce the laws that are already on the book. Facts. These people are here illegally. Again, they're not seeking asylum. If they were seeking asylum, they would have gone to the first country that would have granted them asylum, which would have been Mexico. What I would like to see them do, if they're here illegally, they need to go back to their country of origin, and that's immediately. We have no allegiance to these folks, okay? We don't care where they're from. Does the Democratic platform seem to satisfy your needs as far as what you'd like to see with our immigration policy? Well, what platform is that? They don't seem to have a platform. They seem to have open borders. Everybody can come here. Listen, people live in their home. You have a home or you have an apartment. Do you have a door? Yes, I do. Locked? Yeah, locked. Are you locked because you're racist? No. You're locked because? I'm protecting my 4 children that I have at home. Exactly. Same thing with our borders, okay? It's nothing to do with racism. We have to protect our sovereignty. Yeah. We have to protect the citizens here. We have to protect our homeland. And so we have to close those borders. Absolutely. By any means necessary. Building a wall is an excellent idea. Look at the DNC convention. They built all kinds of walls of security. They have all kinds of police. They wanted to defund the police. They didn't want police protection. But listen, when it comes to them, it's always hypocrisy, built into it. Why is it that you get to come here? You ain't put no money on the books, no taxes, bled no wars. You've contributed nothing to the country here. And you get to come here, you get all these resources that the average American can't. What about our homeless children?
What about our veterans? This is the game right now. Right. So all of those things are connected, and it starts by not giving the children the resources that they need because you're stealing the money. So you have these immigrants coming in. If you need to flee where you live, yeah, come in. But don't neglect your own children. Yeah. You're giving money. All of a sudden, you come up with all this money. You found all this money. Yeah. To throw at their needs and stuff. Our kids need a line in these bills or whatever. There needs to be a line in there that at-risk children get the same type of accommodations, modifications, and monies needed to help them access the curriculum too. Okay? Absolutely. Do not leave our American children out. Everybody says that the Democratic Party, has an agenda behind bringing immigrants.
It does.
Because they can no longer depend on the black vote.
Fact.
So they're trying to replace our votes. Okay? Immigration, period, is a problem and has always harmed the freedmen. Illegal immigration is crushing the whole country.
That's a fact. Let me write this down.
I'm okay with the immigration. Speak the truth. When you think about what's going on in the United States of America right now and in Chicago with mass immigration, what are 3 words that come to mind that for you? Very, very angry. Tell me more about that. I'm going to put this at the feet of the Democratic Party. The Biden administration. Because we've never seen a surge like we have seen in this issue.
Facts.
It's all about design. It's deliberate. The Democratic Party realizes that the black vote is dwindling because the Democratic Party has not delivered for the black community in the way that the black community has delivered for the Democratic Party in terms of votes. And they realize that. So what do? They go around the world and open up these borders, and they let people come from around the world, poor, honorable people from around the world, come into this country, and it was very strategic. You let them go into cities like New York. You let them come into cities like Chicago. You let them come into cities that where there's a large black population. Now, they're all over the city of Chicago, but the majority of them now in Chicago are on the west and the south side of Chicago. Poor neighborhoods that are struggling, that have been struggling for a long, long time. So you bring these people into Hyde Park, you bring these people into South Shore, they put them in a hotel literally right across the street from me. They're paying no rent. Their food is being provided for. They don't even make their beds. They have a maid to go and make their beds every day. How do I know? Because I live on the 25th floor and I can look right down on that hotel every day, every night, and I see what's going on. We don't want them in our community. Let them go back to where they came from. Because it's my position that if you have a problem with your country, then you stay and you make it better by fighting that government.
Facts.
Making your government do what it
That's
needs
right.
to do.
That's right.
It's people, because that's what we do in this country. That's what I've been doing all of my life. I don't have any place to run to. America is my home. It's my country. We built it.
Facts.
The buses started rolling in. A lot of the American citizens.
And that's why, Brandon Johnson, you have a 14% approval rating. You don't listen to your constituents, your people who put you in office. You awful. You are awful. Let me see. What we got now? Okay, let me see. You already got a gang problem. You already got gang wars there. I wrote down the dates. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Salutations, loyal viewers of this channel. My name is Sean, and today we're going to talk about the nearly $1 billion budget. We don't have a Dana Bash interviewing Kamala Harris, or obviously an outlier, that tool of assessing your home to be much higher value.
We are impacting residents as little as possible.
So again, this is one of the main reasons why I hate
No,
politicians.
I'm not gonna do that one. Let's do this one.
With some breaking news on the Chicago City budget. It could be short nearly $1 billion. We just learned that's the shortfall Mayor Brandon Johnson is projecting for the 2025 budget.
And that means the city will need to make some tough financial decisions.
A nearly $1 billion shortfall. That's what the city of Chicago is facing for their 2025 budget. Mayor Brandon Johnson saying the city needs to find $982 million.
So the city of Chicago is facing a $1 billion budget deficit, and it's all covered increases. Start at the beginning. See, we have two political parties here in the United States. We have the Democrats and the Republicans. When it comes to these border, Democrats are let everyone come in and we can take care of claim that they wanted migrants to come there. They wanted open borders and claimed that migrants were welcome, no matter where they came from. Here is the Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson explaining how migrants are welcome in the city and they can handle it.
We know the strength of a city is determined by how we treat the most vulnerable. And so we choose to be a strong city. We must reject a zero-sum formulation between investing in those who have been here for decades and supporting those who have been sit here on a bus even this morning. We can do both, Chicago, and we can all thrive together.
This is coming from other liberal states, like where the governor essentially begged migrants to come to New York.
We want people to come here, despite where they came from, or despite the circumstances that drove them to this country and to this state. We say you are welcome here. You're welcome with open arms, and we'll work to keep you safe. We'll not only house you, but we'll protect you. And the richness of the culture and the diversity and the food and the restaurants that we know are going to be coming because of these efforts are beyond measure. It's an extraordinary part of our story, and it's woven into the story of New York, and it makes us more vibrant.
Now, this virtual signaling was great for politics.
And then 10 minutes later, a Guatemalan set a homeless woman on fire on the bus in New York. You got Trinidad Tobago, the leader of the Venezuelan gang, was caught in New York. You got the Venezuelan gang in Chicago, and y'all still want to harbor these people. You just can't make it up. You can't make it up. It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Since almost no migrants were coming to New York and Chicago, but were all staying at the southern border, then they could call the Republicans racist and
Hold on, I'm going to go past that one. Then, because you got $1 billion deficit, you do this.
Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is enacting a hiring freeze and strictly limiting overtime to combat the city's budget woes.
Now, this is effective immediately, and by the way, it does include both the police and fire departments. Chicago facing a forecasted $223 million budget hole for the remainder of this year, and a nearly $1 million, or rather billion with a B, dollar deficit next year. It's largely driven by uncertainty over how to meet a $175 million pension payment to Chicago Public Schools for non-teaching staff. There is also a decline in revenue from state distributed personal property replacement tax and funding for the city's new arrivals mission. Now, during a budget hearing just last month, city officials did not rule out a property tax increase to help fill the budget gap.
This why you the worst man. Oh shit! Hold on. It done moved. Lord have mercy. Damn. Well, that's doing that. Let me go back. Oh no, that was so good. You make one mistake, I lose my spot. Chicago residents rip mayor over spending on migrants. Worst mayor in America. Residents of Chicago are blasting Mayor Brandon Johnson over the city spending more than $500 million on sheltering migrants, with one telling the Democrat to his face during a city council meeting that he's the worst mayor in America. And he is so arrogant. He does not care. The criticism surrounding Johnson and Chicago's new arrival mission, which so far has cost the city $574.5 million since its inception in August 2022, comes as the mayor is trying to overcome $1 billion budget deficit by the end of the year. The city council held a meeting during which residents voiced their opposition to a $60 million. He went from a $300 million property tax increase. He dropped it down to 60. Who voiced their opposition to a $60 million property tax increase floated as one way to help close the gap. I got a great way what we can do with this budget. First, let us start with cutting off the illegals from getting free everything, free housing, free school, and free food. Yeah, let's start with that. That'll save us a lot of money, one woman told Johnson. Let's start there. Then let's start with you. Your salary. You're going down in history as the worst mayor in America. Let's start with cutting yours. You making too much money, she said. Then Chicago Teacher Union slams newspaper that called, oh, that's another topic, never mind. Another resident told Johnson that she is an immigrant who came to the U.S. legally and that she is very embarrassed for what my other fellow Latin American citizens are doing in the city on behalf of people that work, on behalf of the people that pay taxes, on behalf of the people that contribute to the city. I like to make it clear that not everyone is the same. These people came with a wide door open and they feel entitled to many things that nobody has. Not anymore. They scared to death. There are U.S. citizens suffering from poverty. There are U.S. citizens on public aid, and these people are here just enjoying the benefits, becoming delinquents, and they have no consequences. They do now because Trump removed their temporary protection status. They're not protected anymore. I think one ends in April and the other ends in September. They're not protected no more. Mm-mm. And now that they got the leader of the Trinidad Nicaragua, however you say gang. At one point in the meeting, a resident asked Johnson for his undivided attention. So this just proves to you the lack of leadership that you show in the city. You can't even give me a straight eye contact. Now that I'm going to let you know, the people of Chicago, we're done with you. Johnson's office said in April that the goal of new arrivals mission is to provide short-term emergency shelter to manage this humanitarian crisis, while making long-term investments in the city's capacity to handle future challenges related to displacement and emerging migration patterns. Trump then closed the border again. Thank you, God. Since August 2022, Texas Governor Greg Abbott has bused hundreds of thousands to asylum seekers across the United States. The city of Chicago has received a third most asylum seekers of all cities in the country, behind New York and Denver, with nearly 39,000 new arrivals arriving in the city. The city of Chicago, in partnership with the state of Illinois and Cook County, have worked to support new arrivals on a path to self-sufficiency by providing basic necessities, food, shelter, medical care, education, vaccines, case management, and resettlement supports. So let me tell you, if any of us United States citizens go to a country outside of the US without a passport identity, overstay our grounds, guess what they doing? They're gonna kick you out. They not gonna house you. They not gonna feed you. They not gonna do anything like that. And if you don't leave, they're gonna put you in jail. And that's a fact. Nobody can do this. We cannot do this. Try it and let me know how it work out for you. As the end of this year, the new arrivals mission shelter system will be phased out. This transition is aligned with the sharp decline in migration to Chicago and our current budget realities. It took you to get $1 billion in debt to realize you can't do it. And the other administration didn't send you a dime to help with them. We are shifting to a more cost effective, equitable, and strategic approach that addresses homelessness for all who need support in the city of Chicago. That's a lie. Johnson's office did not immediately respond to a request for comment. We're going to get to that in a minute. Let me get back to this other video. The teachers union. I'm going to talk about that. They bankroll him and he want to tap into their damn, I thought I was back to. Hi y'all. And this thing just stopped. I hate it. I'll be trying to get through all this information so I can delete it. I'm almost there, y'all. Thank you for your patience. Oh, here we go. Okay, that's where I left off. Now, where was my next one? Oh, here she go. This my girl. This my girl. I watched Zoe Lee with Jessica and that Tulsi. She be on Fox News. Tulsi. Dang, what's her name? I like her too. I think I got a video of her. Here she go.
What's up, y'all? Here, creator of Gospel Chops and your host for this YouTube channel, Backwoods in the city of Chicago. Because they saying as hard as y'all.
Let it be a black person. If Venezuelans got it, it's like I don't.
Country.
Okay, here we go.
If you order your food on DoorDash, 9 times out of 10 it's gonna be a Venezuelan. Ordering your food, can't speak English. Like they literally took over. They took over. They taking the jobs, y'all. They taking over. And the government is helping their ass. How do the Venezuelans took over the whole DoorDash? They took over the whole delivery system. Kid you not. Order some DoorDash right now. I bet the motherfucking Venezuelans got it. It's like, I don't know if they own network through DoorDash.
And she ain't lying, because here in Detroit, when I ordered DoorDash, they do not speak English. That is a fact. Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
Because I have yet to see a black person order me some, deliver my mother food since they came here. Since they came here. Y'all, they taking over the housing system. They taking over the DoorDash. They taking over. Oh, my God. I got tears in my eyes, y'all. They pushing us out. And the government is helping them. They giving these Venezuelans cars and shit, and they can't even drive on the 290. They can't drive. They swerving into lanes. Shit with no license plates on their cars. The police not even pulling them over. Let it be a black person. Even though they look black, but they don't, cause they dress. They dress. You could just tell them apart from the Hispanics. You can. You could from the blacks. You can. Swag, dress code. You can tell them apart. They taking over. Y'all. They gonna run us out of Chicago, y'all. They not running me out of Chicago Beach.
You know, ain't no
this just a.
Ain't no immigrants. The black people ain't got no reason to hate on no immigrants.
No, but the immigrants got.
We everything y'all are in something. Let me tell you something. You get them signs down. Anytime that Arnold and Ralston and Silverstein and what's that other?
See your low
up here and talk about how they should get a hate crime bill because SWAT sticks was in zip-lock bags in their community. They hung this in our community. We want it off the polls. We want that to be the beginning of a hate crime. And that organization, which is a white liberal organization, like in the words of Malcolm X, who told us what? That the white liberal is the worst enemy.
Facts.
Social justice.
Say that.
All you're doing is trying to use black people to find a reason to get some money.
Say that.
Tell y'all something over there. With God, the Democratic Party is God. You have to know.
Y'all gonna abuse us. They get to abuse the black.
Hey. Hey, William.
You leave the Democratic Party. Do just like RFK Jr., just do like that Tulsa lady. You better get up out the Democratic Party. Save yourself, save your families, save your dignity, save your jobs, and save your city. Because if y'all don't, we come for your safety. We ain't just gonna moral. We ain't taking no away from a bunch of people who have run the country and now have completely broke the city, have completely broke the country, have completely disgraced the United States of America. America is a disgrace. And for the, oh my God, what a solution. You give us a fake, black, cackling hand of a candidate. With a vice president that's talking about he want to put tampons to the boys' bathroom.
Right.
And the number one function of a president is to be the commander-in-chief. You tell me anything about Kamala Harris that looks like she can protect this country after y'all have sat up here and they did an overwritten with a bunch of they're not Democrats. Y'all have sat up here and put America's hands in all kind of wars. And you telling me a tampon man that ran from duty don't even know what his rule was. Kamala Harris, who don't know what race she is, gonna protect this country? The devil is a lie. Y'all better keep some signs down. I know that.
Barbara Bacon, Revolution, number 73. Black people hating on immigrants. Nonsense and worse from people who should know better. One of the most maddening and heartbreaking things these days is to hear.
Listen. She ain't never lied with what she said. That's why Brandon Johnson, the worst mayor in America. Oh, here she go again.
some money.
Say
Let me
that.
tell y'all something over there. With God and Democratic Party, it's God.
Abuse the black American.
Gonna come in here and gonna clean it up. Do just like R.K. Jr. Just do like that Tulsa lady. You better get up out the Democratic Party. Save yourself. Because if y'all don't, we coming for your safety.
Coming for them seats. Coming for them seats. And as we see, we did. They is so done. Okay, that was. I don't know how I wrote this stuff down. 9:15. Oh, dang, I got the same one again. Now, this a gang member. This my boy. I love Butter. Now, this is what he said.
Things that's been kind of big going on. It started in Colorado. Just the other day, I see them talk about possibly in Chicago. They got this Venezuelan gangs going around, man. You know, I think everybody's seen the video in Chicago, man. You know, what's your take on that? Did you have a chance to see that? Check that out.
I heard they took over 600. Oh my big grandma, I heard they took over the 61st Clubway.
Is that where that apartment was? Where they were talking about that they went to? That was a couple blocks from Old Block?
Yeah.
Now, why does it stop?
Yeah, that's 600. That's 600. That ain't the front, but that's like 600. That's King Drive, 60.
Do you think it's gonna happen if these gangs actually like try to get wild over there in Chicago?
Man, listen, man. The shorties out here slow as hell, gang. A lot of them just want to catch a body anyway. So, like, did y'all come to the U.S. to die anyway? Y'all could have stayed over there in y'all country and fought y'all war.
So one of the things that's been kind of big going on, it started in Colorado.
Whoa. Now, that's what he's. God damn it. I swear to God. It's 9:15. You can't make this shit up. I swear to God, you can't make this up. Can't make it up. Can't. Oh, it's on this phone. So then the teachers union bankrolled Brandon Johnson. They helped get him elected because he was a so-called teacher, elementary school. The Chicago Teachers Union bankrolled Johnson's mayoral campaign, pouring cash into the candidacy of one of its ex-organizers and former social studies teacher. As mayor, Johnson was expected to repay the largest when teachers' contracts were renegotiated in 2024. But cash-strapped Chicago can't afford to meet the educators' demand for 9% annual pay bump. No, he can't do nothing. Johnson tied himself in knots trying to keep the union happy while balancing the books. His plan to fill a looming deficit in the school budget with $300 million shortfall. So you got $1 billion city deficit, a $300 million school deficit. That's why I gave you a D-. You need to go. High interest loan was rejected by public school district CEO Pedro Martinez, and you fired him. You fired the school board, then you replaced them on the Friday, replaced them by Monday. When Johnson tried to get school board members to oust Martinez, they refused and resigned. Then got on a Friday and got a new school board that Monday. And Chicago debt has been downgraded to like a C, I believe. It's not longer has an A credit rating, it's a B or a C. So your debt has been downgraded because you don't have people have left and businesses have left. Your downtown Chicago, most of those stores are gone. You ain't getting enough money in to pay the debt. They don't trust you. When Johnson tried to get the school board members to oust Martinez, they refused and resigned. Last month, the mayor hastily appointed a new board members, but the damage was already done. This is why you're the worst mayor. The public spat through a system for more than 323,000 students into chaos, and Johnson had alienated many of his former backers. These the worst sanctuary mayors. And what do we have? Let me see if I can make this bigger here. Brandon Johnson, Eric Adams, Michael Johnston. I bet you Michael Johnston gonna be at that at the Senate meeting, and Eric Adams. He damn sure read the first one there to get pardoned by Trump. Kelly Gertz, Athens, Georgia. I didn't know Athens, Georgia was a sanctuary city. Muriel Bowser, Washington, D.C. Karen oh yeah, Lord have mercy, she may go. Oh, she terrible with the LA fires. Mary Ann Baldwin, Raleigh, North Carolina. I did not know Raleigh was a sanctuary city. Reed Gershwin, Trenton, New Jersey. Ron Nierenberg, San Antonio, Texas. Daryl Steimer, Sacramento, California. I did not know this is the worst sanctuary city mayor. Wow. Chicago is not the only liberal U.S. city struggling to cope with the influx of immigrants and asylum seekers across the southern border, but Johnson has struggled especially hard to accommodate the tens of thousands of newcomers who arrive looking for work in schools and without a roof over their heads. When his administration turned public schools into shelters and doled out apartments to foreigners, residents in mostly Black-affected neighborhoods vented their ear on social media. In one viral clip, an African-American woman slammed the mayor's support for asylum seekers with shelters and $9,000 payouts. They were giving up to $9,000 to pay rent for like up to 6 months, saying it was on the expense of Blacks who helped elect him. I don't understand how they can give these immigrants thousands of dollars in the state of Illinois, but look what they're doing to our own effing people, said the Chicago woman. She described seeing Latinos arriving in her neighborhood in a 12-foot box truck using government welfare checks to buy up everything and effectively price Black residents out. The fact that they are here and our government is giving more to them than to the people who were born here is really starting to piss us off, she added. Mayor Brandon, we're coming for your ass. Johnson was in August ranks America's lowest, 14%. We said that. The group said he lavished hundreds of millions of dollars on immigrants while his own voters languish in poverty. Johnson has failed miserably at what the 17th century French statesman Jean-Baptiste Colbert called the art of taxation. For Colbert, it involved so plucking the goose as to obtain the largest amount of feathers with the least amount of hissing. Yet the hissing after Johnson hikes on property and liquor taxes have been hard to ignore. when he proposed 300 million rise in property taxes in 2025 budget, city council member had a rare moment of unanimity. They vetoed it. They said no. They voted 50-0 against the proposal. The mayor's revised plan, 150 million hike, is only slightly less than unpopular. Chicago's already paid the highest property tax in the country. They vetoed the 150, and he took that down to 60. Poor and minority groups have long said the taxes make ownership a pipe dream. One Chicago resident, a woman known only as Miss Lawrence, slammed the mayor at the recent city meeting. We paid for all these properties for a purpose and not for you to go touching it with 300 million that you want to siphon out of citizen pockets, she said. Seemingly not content with taxing Chicagoans into homelessness, the mayor also took aim at their Friday nights. He seeks to raise taxes in liquor in bars and restaurants to 35%. That's the first such bump since 2008. Hospitality groups are fighting against the plan, saying it will upend their industry. The writing has been on the wall for Johnson for some time. Voices calling for his recall are growing louder. I'm live. I'll call you right back. Or jump on the live. Okay. The writing has been on the wall for Johnson for some time. Voices calling for his recall are growing louder. This month's presidential election was another wake-up call about the changing face of the blue U.S. cities. President-elect Donald Trump vote share rose from 15.8% across Cook County, which includes Chicago, in 2020 to 21.4% this year. MAGA Chicagoans blasted Johnson's tax hikes as a heated city council meeting this month in a sign of city shifting political sands. He told the mayor that Quan, the feds need to address you, the DOJ needs to address you. He told Johnson this, and hopefully Donald Trump would address you. You're going to protect the undocumented while you're going to allow for citizens in Chicago to suffer under your 3%. Johnson has been on back foot for weeks. Reporters quizzed him about his doomed taxation plans and dismal approval ratings this week. He said it was too early to grade his performance and talked up recent gains, investment flows to Chicago, and falling homicide rates. That's a lie. Johnson is having a hard time, but he can perhaps take some solace in the fact that he's not the only unpopular mayor Chicagoans have complained about. His predecessor, Lori Lightfoot, was so unpopular that she failed to make the mayor runoff vote in 2023. Before her, Rahm Emanuel dropped his 2019 re-election bid amid controversy over rising crime, school closures, and the infamous police shooting. They just picked bad mayor after mayor. You can't make it up. Oh, shit. How long have I been on? I wanna what the Oh shoot, that's the wrong. Lord have mercy. You can't. Okay. How y'all doing? Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. What y'all think? Brandon Johnson, the worst mayor in history. I think he worse than Lori Lightfoot, to tell you the truth. And Rahm Emanuel out of Chicago. Now that's what I think. I think I'm gonna do one more video after this. I don't know if I want to do something fun. I'm almost there. I'm so tired. After I do these, I'm gonna go back and revamp this stuff. Oops. I don't know, went too far. Well, here we go.
I can say to you that you are a disgrace. I'm an 80-year-old woman, and I've never seen anything like this. I grew up in the Jim Crow South, and the policies that you're passing in this city remind me of the Jim Crow South. I had to drink out of a colored water fountain, or the whites would drink out of a white water fountain. But you know what I didn't have to worry about? Going back to my community, and it would be destroyed. And everybody else is in my community but Black people.
Right.
And this is what you've done with this immigration. You have allowed all these people, you brought all these people into this city. You are destroying this city.
That's okay, Real Talk. Thank you for coming.
With all of these immigrants, violent ones, prostitution, gangs, you did that. You are doing this to your people. You are an absolute disgrace to me. Like I said, I drank out of that colored water fountain, but I can go back to that Black community that was intact.
Facts.
Women are crying. Taxes are going up. What am I going to do with my children? Where are we going to
Facts.
live? This is because of you, Brandon Jackson. You're destroying the south side of Chicago with your policy. All under the Democratic Party. You are a disgrace. All I can say to you.
And he still goes against his constituents. This is Brandon Johnson being the worst mayor in America with a 14% approval rating. Yeah, that's what somebody, okay, what was the next one? 916. I do 917. I think I'm in October. October. I'm about to rewrite this stuff.
And the government is helping them. How the you
Oh, I already did that one.
Where's your insurance? Why you run into my car and keep going? car. Turn the key off. Turn it off. Why you running to my car? Why you running? I know you. Why you leave? Keep my car. Keep going. What the hell you think you are?
Well, she went and got him. She went and got him.
So as you saw there, she said that he was trying to drive off after he ran into her car. And quite obviously, it did some damage because his truck was pretty messed up. But as she was trying to talk to him, he talking about he don't speak English. It sounds like he didn't have a driver's license, insurance, or none of that. So with that, when somebody runs into your car, then you're on the hook for, you know, the repairs or any of that it might have caused, or you have to go after that. 9 times out of 10, not going to be successful there, so you have to go through your insurance company, which is the point of my conversation, especially with the climate that's going on now over here. We've heard a lot of stories.
And they don't. Look, I see it every day up there. They don't know how to drive. Back to Chicago.
Last year, the city is currently in a $235 million deficit, which means that you guys overspent the budget to pay for people who have not paid any taxes, who have not stood on the corner and going to the Chicago Public Schools, who have not done anything. It is very disrespectful. It is extremely disrespectful that parents like myself have to go out and drive 3 expressways every morning to take our children to school because you guys can't get the busing situation together. But you have all the time, all the energy, all the solutions to do things for our immigrants. My friends, not only is that Negrophobic, but it is xenophobic against the American people. We are not being treated fairly in our city, and you guys are using our property taxes to affect us negatively. We are asking right now to put a moratorium on the secondary city ordinance. It is drowning the taxpayer. It is forcing everybody's rent to go up. It is forcing everybody's mortgages to go up because the property taxes are going up. There is no stoppage for the illegals who are coming up here because you guys want to magnetize our city for illegal immigration. By showing the world how we treat people who go to our country. And we don't have any more money to back you wrong. We don't have any money. What I want you guys to do is figure out how to balance the budget before you talk about any kind that does not have Social Security number.
Facts.
Before you talk about anybody who has not done the work of Americans. They don't deserve anything. We owe them nothing.
Facts. Nothing.
Conversations about immigrants, what you guys are saying, not you, American Negro, because the American Negro is not an immigrant at all. And every time we talk about them, every time we spend time talking about them, our taxpayer-funded time, you guys are pushing us to the back. And that's Negrophobic, and that is disrespectful. The same way you all can get together and have meetings for the immigrants, figure out how you can have a meeting to figure out how to balance and reduce the budget. We do not have the money. Stop giving them our money when our people need it. I'm not saying black people, the American people, the Chicago taxpayers. We need the money. Don't give them anymore.
Facts. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Thank you for my new subscribers. Got to get out of here. Appreciate y'all. Just dropping some nuggets. Have a good day.